I think it's really extremely important to talk about radical accountability. Trisha said tough love. You know what the hardest part is, Trisha?
What?
Doing that tomorrow and the next day
Yep.
and the next day and the next day and showing up every single day getting 1% better. Let's roll this clip by James Clear, getting 1% better every day. We're going to talk about never-ending constant improvement.
To think about it is just kind of basic math. Like if you just look at the numbers, if you were able to improve by 1% each day for an entire year, and those gains compound, you would end up 37 times better at the end of the year. And if you were to get 1% worse, you would whittle yourself almost all the way down to zero. What's interesting here is that everybody wants a transformation, right? Everybody wants a radical improvement, want rapid success, but we fail to realize that small habits and little choices are transforming us every day already. One way to think about it is just kind of...
James Clear wrote a book called Atomic Habits. If you haven't seen it, pull that up so the viewers here can see what Atomic Habits looks like. This book, we've talked about it a couple times on the podcast. I've read it twice. I read it once, and if I'm honest, I skimmed through it the second time just to go back to the parts that I really liked. But I did read it one time front to back, and it really is a great book. There's no secret why it was on the New York Times best-selling list. I think a record, gosh, it was on like, I don't know, so many weeks in a row. I think like 50-something, if not still running, 50-something weeks in a row. But he talks about getting 1% better as a key axiom of Atomic Habits. And this is what I mean when I say never-ending improvement. It's like the mindset that there is no such thing as a finish line. It's that there's only such thing as the next level, that you have to show up on a daily basis, a weekly basis, right? And constantly and relentlessly seek the next level to get better. Even, here's the key, even when good's already working. You know how many people will get comfortable? Human beings, we have this temperature gauge. And as soon as you get to that temperature in which you feel comfortable, boom, the ambition shuts off. Or boom, we're good to go now. But here's what I know. You're either getting better or you're getting worse day over day. There's Pat Riley, the great NBA basketball coach and owner, said, there is no such thing as life in between. There's no such thing as staying still. Think about it. The world is always spinning. Plants are always growing. The environment around us is constantly evolving. There's no, literally, it's not like a pun or a cliche. There's no such thing as staying still. Nothing. Everything vibrates at the particle level. Everything moves all the time. Even when you're still, you're moving. Okay? You're either growing or you're dying. There's no such thing as staying stagnant or rigid. You know what rigid and stagnant is? You know what a synonym to stagnation is, or rigidity? Death. That's the only way. And so we're breathing. We're alive. You're either growing or you're dying. You're either viewing feedback as fuel or you're viewing criticism as something that's going to slow you down. You're either like staying hungry or you're not. And if you're content, then you're going backwards. If you're good, if you're chilling, you're going backward. And so never-ending improvement is so important because I've seen this over and over and over and over and over repeatedly in a business context. When people get good, when they get to their temperature, when it's 72 degrees and everything is comfortable, they take their foot off the gas. They think they're going to just stay still and stay stagnant. What starts to happen? The weeds in their garden start to grow. You built this beautiful life for yourself. You're doing great. You got the job promotion, right? You worked so hard for the last decade to get it done. Working overtime, putting in the extra work, showing up to the office early, showing that you wanted to grow. And then all of a sudden you get what you were after. That didn't do it for you. You know, you stay content. You get content, and now all of a sudden, watch that slowly go away. Watch the weeds slowly start to pop up. And if you don't tend to that garden, then those weeds, they will overtake the garden. They grow much faster than flowers.
I think it also goes back to what we talk about a lot is the story that you're telling yourself in your head. So do you think about feedback? think about feedback, you can take it as criticism or you can take it as ways to get better. It's how you then spin that in your head to then progress. And I think to Devin's point, if you are showing up every day and you know that you're just going through the motions, what's the story that you're telling yourself in your head every single day that you get up? Because we all have to constantly work on that positive narrative in our head to continue to grow and to continue to challenge ourselves. And that's where, for me, fitness plays a huge role, because it's a great reminder for me every single day that I am pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. If I push myself outside my comfort zone in the gym, chances are I'm going to do that outside the gym as well. It's a little bit easier because I know that I can do it. I gave myself that confidence to do that harder rep, and then I go do that outside of our four walls. So to me, that's how fitness plays a role. And probably for those of you who are listening, it's called the Burn Bootcamp Podcast. We all feel that same way, and we've gotten that confidence, and we just have to keep making sure that we are doing daily checks and inventory on ourselves to keep that positive storytelling.
So speaking of, and you guys are all here for our leadership and our mentorship and education around fitness, around nutrition, around psychology. Today is a psychology episode. It's how you think really matters. How you think matters more than, in my opinion, of what you eat and how you move, because how you think is the foundation of how then you do everything else in your life. Like, what is your attitude? What are your effort? What's your effort level? What are your belief systems, right? If I believe that if I show up to the gym every day, work hard, and eat well, that my life is going to get better, cup will runneth over, and all areas of my life get better, well, then I'm going to actually go do the things in health and nutrition and fitness that lead to that. If I think, well, none of that stuff works anyway, like I can be healthy without doing that, then you're going to get the outcomes associated with that mindset. So your mindset is, part of this is this never-ending improvement that we're talking about is a growth mindset, always learning, always evolving, using mistakes that you make as data and feedback, and to value progress, because progress is happiness. Progress is happiness. Never-ending improvement is making progress on a daily basis. And back to you made me think about this when you said the word health and fitness. You said, here's my context in health and fitness. You know how many members I've worked with over the years, and we've made the adjustment once they come to me and say this one P word. It's a P word that I can't stand because it's another synonym of stagnation, rigidity, and death. It's the P word.
Perfection.
Perfection is close. I'm going to allow you one. It's close. You've heard this one. Channel your inner trainer. People come to you and they say they just get to this place where they're flatlining.
Plateau.
A plateau. How many of you, be honest with yourself, have ever said, I plateaued?
I definitely have at one point in my life, but now I know past that. Yeah.
Okay, so plateau, let's talk about this for a moment. I wrote this in my 2018 book, Stop Starting Over. You can get it on Amazon if you're interested in it. I wrote about plateau because I had so many members come to me and talk about plateau, and Stop Starting Over was really a book about psychology. Like people would say, I'm just going to start over on Monday. I'm going to start over in January. I'm like, you guys got to stop starting over, right? We just got to have constant and never-ending improvement. Then you don't have to have a situation in which you need to start next Monday, because we all know how that works. So plateau isn't actually a thing in life. It is, but it's synonymous with death. A plateau means you just stop. It's rigid. You're still. There's no progress. You're either going backwards or you're going forward. Okay? If you're plateauing, then you're not plateaued. You're going the opposite way of where you want to go. You're going the wrong direction. You're going downhill fast. You ain't on a plateau. Or you can make the adjustment and you can go uphill. Or you can get better. I can understand how uphill might be confusing. But hey, the climb, the hard climb, is where all the goodness is at the top of the mountain. So maybe uphill is the appropriate word for that. Plateau is not a real thing. It's just your inability to make the adjustment. Mm-hmm. That's all a plateau is. So if somebody comes to me and says, hey, DK, my nutrition is, it's perfect. My fitness is perfect. I'm at a plateau. Then I know that we need to dive into what your definition of perfect on fitness and nutrition are, and we need to actually explore that, because 100% there's something in there that isn't, and we need to make the adjustment. Now I can know about the adjustment, but then do I apply the adjustment is a whole different ballgame. Right? We talked about that earlier. Knowledge is not power. Only the application of knowledge is power. Knowledge is only potential. Okay, so think about that. If you have ever said, or you're sitting there right now being like, I am at a perceived plateau, your language patterns are so important, my friends. The subtle language patterns that you use are so important because, like I said, growth mindset is your attitude, your effort, and your belief systems. One belief system, and you have thousands of them, is I'm at a plateau. If you believe you're at a plateau, how willing are you to dive in and actually find out where the adjustment is to be made? If you believe that you're just kind of at this flat line, at this place, you're blaming, in a sense, you're not taking accountability. You're, in a sense, blaming the outside environment. I'm doing all the right things, but I'm at a plateau because of something outside my control. It's never outside your control. Never, ever. So we got to dive in. We got to find it. We got to make the adjustment. Is it a macronutrient? Is it, are you not pushing your weights? What is the adjustment that we need to make? Because once you make the adjustment, you'll start to gain progress again. And progress equals happiness. You follow me on that one?
I am following you, and I think it goes back to 1% better. You don't have to do everything all the time, like all at once. 1% better every single day.
Yeah, find that. Where's that one area of your life right now? If you were to close your eyes and you were to take an inventory, okay, we call this the burn lifestyle. 8 areas of life. If you were to add all these 8 areas up, this is what progress means. And you have to have a daily ritual or a daily habit in each one of these 8 areas of life in order to be making progress. Any one of the 8 areas that you are not making progress in works like a black hole. It will suck the energy from all the other areas of your life, and it will suck it down into this one black hole, and you'll start to have a lack of progress everywhere else. And if we reverse engineer progress as happiness, then no progress is unhappiness. And I want to be happy. Don't you all just want to be happy? Don't you want to wake up every day happy? I know I do. So close your eyes. It's body. It's mind. It's emotion. It's spirit. And those are the 4 sides of you personally. The other side, the other 4 categories, relationship or relationships, time, work or purpose, money. 8 areas of your life, 4 that are personal to you and 4 that are in your external environment, all led by your attitude, your effort, and your belief. And I know this better than anybody because when I started eating poorly, drinking too much alcohol, drowning my feelings and like too much ambition, too much work, right? It started taking away from these other areas of my life. And when I would pour into my work so hard because I wanted it so bad, because it's always how I got love and respect and admiration growing up in a broken home with a name that was disgraced in my community. If you were a Klein where I'm from, then you would know what that meant. You meant that, you got trouble associated with your name. And so I overcorrected my ambition because that was one way that I got respect and love and admiration and counterbalanced that kind of inherently disgraced name. And what ended up happening was I started putting so much effort into that work bucket, right? It was never about money for me. It was never about that. It was just the ambition, just the pursuit of the game, just the work side, just the purpose for me. It siphoned out my body and my mind and especially my spirit. And I had a broken spirit until I woke up one day and was like, well, I can't do this anymore, right? I'm feeling just so bad about myself when I'm supposed to be feeling so good I wasn't happy, right? And so I know this firsthand. So take an inventory of these areas of your life. Like, I'll put it in a very simple way. This was where I was headed. You don't want to be the billionaire at 55 years old in your deathbed because you have no health. Or you don't want to be the billionaire that's divorced, that doesn't have a relationship with their children because all you ever did was care about how much work you could do or how much money you could make. You also don't want to be the person that's so obsessed with their body that you put your and you're so obsessed with your fitness and your health that you put your family in a financial strain because that's all you ever do and that's all you ever focus on. You have to be well-rounded. And so take inventory of these 8 areas. We're going to move on to segment 4 and 5 here, but take inventory of these areas in your life. We call it the burn lifestyle. I'll say it one more time: body, mind, emotion, spirit, relationships, time, work, money. These are the things, the elements, the pieces of the pie to your life. How are you doing? Is a great question. Sometimes the simple questions are the best questions because the answers are very simple as well. But you have to be careful when you answer these questions because you have to really want to know the answer. And going back to accountability, hold yourself accountable to the answers of the question, how am I doing in each of these categories? You may find that you're a 6 out of 10, a 5 out of 10 on 2 of them. You may then have some work to do, and that's okay, because we all do.